Alright, hello, and welcome to Rampant Pyanodon Season 6, Episode 7. Last episode, we did some solid and fluid excess management, and we also took care of borax, or I said we took care of borax. I actually only took care of raw borax because I forgot to wash it. This episode, we'll be washing borax, and then we'll go ahead and take care of some other metallurgic prerequisites, and namely borax, sand casting, and hot air. All right, so borax was one of the simplest builds I've ever built. It's literally just raw borax and water, and then out we get clean borax and muddy sludge. This is the first build where I used the pump jack. I learned about pump jacks. They allow you to get water from anywhere, which I did not know about, so it's extremely useful. But for this build, due to its simplicity, I really wanted to just get it as compact as possible, just like a solid brick of a building, or a building block or production block, and it looks really good. Here's also where I learned that they changed how the pie inserter cranes work. They used to rotate at about 1 billion miles an hour, but now instead to compensate, they just have a stack size of 3 or 6, or the equivalent of how long they are. But pretty simple build, very compact, nice. I like it, and yeah, let's put it in the world. And if you're wondering, yes, it would have made more sense to attach borax cleaning directly to the raw borax, but I lack some foresight. So instead, we are going to build borax cleaning separately down here, and this is probably where a lot of the other metallurgic things are going to go. And why did we stop? Yes. So this is something I had feared heavily during the space transition, and that was running out of materials before my other base was built up. And we have hundreds of thousands of iron, copper, duralumin, steel, lead, just like every plate possible, except for tin plates for some reason. We are pretty much out of rails because we're out of solder, because we are on our last legs with tin plates. So there's only really one solution to this. Oh, and then I doubled it. Yeah, this is quite painful, but we are almost there. And eventually my trains make their journey from the west to the east, and then up north to the raw borax, to collect the raw borax, to go back down south, and south again to the Borax Mark 1. And this is quite an exciting moment because this is the first time, it's not the first time my rail network is, moved into motion, but it is the first time it felt very raily. I mean, if you zoom out and look at the map, you can see that I had to go all the way west and north and then back south again. I mean, it's just like, it's finally like trains in motion, so very cool. Also, I don't have any B-roll footage for this, but the pie cranes were changed to be much slower, but have like a stack size of 6 and 3. And so I spent 30 minutes changing all the pie cranes in my base, but also I feel like this kind of sort of ruined my station design, because now if I have like I can hold 6 things in my hand, but I try to put it in a wagon, but there's only space for 5, then I'm holding on to like a piece of coal still. But what if the next train that come wants iron instead, but I'm holding on to a piece of coal? Like this is concerning. But hopefully it works out. I don't know. Up next, let's go ahead and work on sand casting. All right, so this is the sand casting build. Sand casting really only has 2 main ingredients, and that is sand and creosote. I was originally going to do one massive build, processing stone into gravel into sand, and then also tar into several byproducts, and then eventually creosote. But then I thought, I probably need sand and creosote in other places, so why not just make 3 separate smaller builds instead? And that's what I did. So, starting with sand. I was aiming for about 45 sand per second, but it takes about 80 stone per second, and I'm only outputting 75, but that's good enough for now. But I take 80 stone and I crush it into 60 gravel, which I then crush again into 45 sand using all jaw crushers. This build takes in excess gravel from my system, so I can drain that out, and otherwise is just a very compact and square build. I had a lot of fun trying out the pie cranes, positioning them in this fun, funky way between the jaw crushers to input and output their ingredients. And once again, the design, the aesthetic, the decoration it's a little bit over designed, but it's toned back a little bit, so it's not the worst. And I also like how my belts kind of do these swirly things when leaving and entering the stations. Let's place it next to the borax. And here we are. It is in place, and again, I love my stone swirlies. I mentioned it just now, and I actually really am very happy with how I tried out the new pie, like the sideways pie cranes. Using Bob's adjustable inserters. They kind of like gobble up the stone and insert it in, and it just fits very nicely because there's 2 sets of them in and out. And then you could see the gravel comes out, gets combined with the excess gravel, which we don't have any excess gravel right now, but I know we will. And then all over again right here. So then it just kind of gobbles up the gravel and it places the sand in the lines. And then the sands, unfortunately, didn't have a swirly out the output actually, but it looks really good. I will say that turning on sand kind of did kick off my entire base because with sand needs stone. Stone has kerogen as a byproduct, and kerogen moves a bunch of stuff into my bento box. I realized my bento box Mark II was having issues, both like technical issues and throughput issues. Because yeah, my base got kicked off. It sent a billion trains into here, into bento box, and I adjusted it, and I realized it wasn't really on. And then we started grabbing byproducts from everywhere, which started off a bunch of production chains, which raised a bunch of issues about the bento box. And to save you the trouble, I tried to alleviate some of the throughput issues by jamming some extra inserters in here, but I think it looked really ugly, so I took those out. Um, Otherwise, yeah, just a bunch of tinkering with circuits, and I think it's in a more stable spot now, and hopefully it doesn't jam up anymore. But I can't wait until I get the next tier of pie cranes because it'll be much faster, and then also quality. I mean, quality's not balanced with pie, but I want to play with quality, so I'm excited for quality cranes as well when I get them. I will definitely invest in them. They will be super worth it, at least for high throughput spots like the bento box Mark II. And I could even make like multiple, like it's not a priority right now, but I want to parallelize the bento boxes, right? Like maybe just place like 10 of them in a row or something. Also, I realized that our muddy sludge had nowhere to go, so I built another condiment container. And let's go ahead and move on to creosote. All right, so to start off creosote, the first thing I did actually in my test world was I cleaned out the entire test world. It was non-functional, which is not a good thing to hear because it's my test world, right? So this implies that something I've designed here is going to break in the main world, but I'm just going to ignore that for now. Anyways, I've cleaned it out, started over, and yeah, one of the things I wanted to do is, I keep reinventing my stations, right? So I have my basic stations, my liquid, my solid stations, and my multi stations, and they're all kind of broken very slightly, and not the most space efficient. So what I've done is I've started by remaking them so that I could actually use these. So this is a dual liquid station that I started out with. That basically just 2 separate liquid stations for different priorities. So I'm going to use it to to bring in tar, which is our main ingredient, and then also a bunch of excess ingredients, and which we have a ton of in this build. I mean, we have, I think it's like steam, anthracene oil, middle oil, naphthalene oil, and carbolic oil as all like 5 different excess inputs. And that's because we're using the tar refining bottoms and tar refining tops processing, which is just it's a recipe where you take tar and you turn it to middle oil, creosote, anthracene oil, and pitch. And then you take that middle oil and you turn that into light oil, carbolic oil, and naphthalene oil. So that's actually basically the entire process. Like after that, I take the leftover anthracene oil and I turn it into creosote. I take the leftover naphthalene oil and I turn that into creosote. And then I take the leftover carbolic oil and I turn that into creosote. I am going to use electric boilers to turn water into steam. But otherwise, if I have steam in the system, I will take that in instead. And then I will be using the Pump Jack Mark I, which, again, I learned about very recently to pump water out of the ground and provide the water for the entire thing. I've settled for like 96333 for the builds. The carbolic oil didn't need 3 tar processing units, but I just wanted to make it look even. The decoration here, I continue to go towards this trend of over decorating. There's definitely some kind of balance that I could hit between, over decorating and simplicity. I don't know. There's like too simple, and then there's decorated, and I'm somewhere a little bit too close to the over decorating side. But I mean, for now, for what it is, I'm pretty happy with it. So this is Creosote, and yeah, let's get to building it. All right, so we can go ahead and just, oh my, every time I try to make my, it, gigot, well, guess we're just gonna go this way instead. Oh, I've been recording. So that is Creosote. And that pretty much wraps up the episode. I mean, this episode we did a lot. We worked on sand and we worked on Creosote. And then we also washed the raw borax, and now it is regular borax. Next episode, we hope to finish the rest of the pre-metallurgic prerequisites. So sand casting, salt, molten salt, hot air, or whatever I need to get hot air, so that we can finally get tin and lead and a lot of the other basic plates. This brings us to the end of the episode, so big thanks to my patrons. Oh, and that guy over there, yeah, he what is it? Arrow 6 wanted to be a little spider bot, so now we have spider bots. He can build, he can deconstruct, and if I run away on a train, he runs away after me. He runs after me. Thanks.